addressing your little bit of an uneven skin tone, but you've got beautiful skin, but we're just going to enhance it even more. And we're going to start with cleansing. So I always start with a fantastic cleanser, and this happens to be one, Micellution. It's one that you don't have to rinse off, so it's fantastic for starting makeup. And it actually hydrates and purifies, which is beautiful because makeup loves plumped up, hydrated skin. And then we're going to pick a moisturiser, and ÜberZinc will be the best one for you because we want to protect you from the sun, which is our biggest ager, and also does exacerbate any kind of pigmentation, which you said that you were concerned about. Then I like to hydrate the skin even more with some Hydrospritz. Just close for me and just stay closed for a little while that settles. So that will plump up the skin even more with the hyaluronic acid in there and all the lovely little beautiful antioxidants. And then we're going to apply our BB Flawless, which again has beautiful moisturising properties because you said that you had a few dry patches, but it's a very natural look too, which is what we're after. So I find that I tend to first apply the product, and really I do it in thin layers and then I go back and forth. So the more you work this product in, the better it looks. So you want it to be at one with the skin rather than quite a thick layer. So it's kind of buffing it almost into the skin. And sometimes you think, well, I haven't really got a lot on there, but as you build it up, it looks better. So I find I always like to start with a liquid foundation just to get that lovely luminous look. And then I like to go with a powder foundation over the top. So I haven't concealed anything yet, and I tend to do that a little bit later. So we will grab a little bit of Natural Beige. Get the kabuki brush, squish it in there, coat the brush nicely again. And then I'm all about depositing the product first and then working it in as well. So instead of rubbing in one spot, you'll get all the coverage in one spot. So where do we need it the most? Tend to the T-zone. That tends to be our main area, but if someone has acne on the side, then you would start. So just depositing the colour or the product and then working it in. And just doing very light circles, but you don't have to go too crazy. Then we will address some little, if we've got any little blemishes. So I find that at this stage you can either go back to your foundation or go to a concealer, and sometimes the foundation is enough and you can go back into the stippling and then you can disperse the colour around the spot, and other times you can use a colour corrector. We will use a little bit of purple, which is our Pigment Correct. So there, it's just about using colour correction rather than opacity and making it really thick. Sometimes if something is brown, then of course the purple is going to disperse that colour. Now usually I don't put purple under the eyes, but just there's a little few brown spots just around and we need to brighten those up. So go back with the BB Flawless, just stipple again, just where you need it. And of course always finish with whatever's left on the powder on the kabuki brush. So with Eyebrite, I tend to like to use my fingers for under the eyes because that really uses the heat of your finger, and I always use my ring finger because it is the weakest. And you're pressing, so never pull under this eye area, and it will avoid any kind of creasing if you're really nicely, again, doing thin layers. So I put 3 layers on, and then you disperse it and really press, press, press. And whatever's left on your finger, which is really not a lot, I will just go over a little bit, just over the eyelid to create a nice space. So again, you would never go directly on the eyelid with a lot of product. It's just a very fine amount because it is such a fine area, and it just gets rid of the little veins and any discoloration. So this is where you can just get that little bit more coverage. But again, you've got to work it in. If you keep it too thick, then it will crease. And I just very lightly press in again. Don't really like a lot of powder under the eyes, but just a little bit because we went over those cheek areas. So as you saw, there's quite a few layers and it seems like it takes a long time, but if you take the time to do it, then it will look really, really natural, like you're not wearing any foundation at all. This Hydro Matte Setting Powder would be great just for the T-zone, very lightly. So now we're going to do a bit of contouring, or what we're trying to do is bring the natural contours out again, because we've kind of flattened with using one colour foundation. So what we will do is, we've got beautiful cheekbones, we'll accentuate those, just nicely shade around the face. So I tend to always, when my brush is loaded with product, I will always start, and I might turn your head that way, just here, which I understand is the tragus, that little bit of the ear. I start there, and then I move into a line to the mouth. I tend to not go in any more than the edge of the eye. I'm depositing colour, that's my little motto. I first deposit the product, and so I do a little bit in the temple. Now, I really go into the hair, because you want your contour colour, or your darker colour, actually coming naturally from within or from the hair. So rather than go straight on the skin, you actually go into the hair. And we're almost using our brush to sculpt. Okay, and so now we've faded the edge. Now, at any time that you've gone too far or have used too much product, well, they can go back to your kabuki brush, which does have product on it, and just give it a bit of a clean. And so then, if your neck is a little bit lighter, which tends to be because our chin is a natural shade to the neck, then just whatever's left on the brush. So I just find I go step 1, step 2, whatever's left on the brush, a little bit down here because there's not a lot of product left on the brush, down there, and then come back and blend. From this point, we could do a little bit of blush into the area there. So it's a totally separate section from where your contour colour is. So it's in that apple, so a little bit of an apple and sweeping up. It's kind of like a little tick. In this little section, you've got 3 products: highlighter, blush, contour. So each has its own purpose, but they do have to slowly merge into one another, but they do need to do their own thing. So right on the apple and just doing nice little ticks. We're going to start our eyes, and we're grooming them first by combing them. Even by combing your eyebrows, you're getting rid of any powder, any product, any foundation. It actually makes them look better even by brushing them. So I brush up and over, because that tends to be how they naturally want to grow, up and over. Then I'm going to take an angle brush and smoke, because Sana's eyebrows are beautiful and dark, so that will be the best colour. We don't want to go too far in from that measurement, from the nose to the eye, and that outer measurement is from the nose to the outer eye. We can see that we need to just lengthen them a little bit, ever so subtly. And then if we go straight ahead where the iris is, that tends to be the natural arch from the nose, outer nose, through the iris, tends to be the natural arch. So that is a little, rule of thumb, not set in concrete. Everyone's different. So then we're trying to fill in any little gaps, but we're emulating the hairs by using our brush. So using a powder is a lovely way to go for eyebrows, because it is very subtle, and eyebrows are one of those things that if you go a little bit too far, you can really, really see it. Now remember, your eyebrows are sisters, not twins. I was told that when I was first starting makeup, and it helped a lot. We're actually following how the eyebrow hairs are growing, but we're just gently coaxing them. So then we'll start with the base. And I thought a lovely way to go would be a peach, a gorgeous colour called Peach Nectar. So we're trying to make the eyes bigger and brighter, but we still want to add some definition. So this is a great base. So we're starting on the mobile lid, the lid that moves, and we're going from the inside out. Because it's a light colour, we don't have to worry too much about absolute precision on the outside, because we are going to add some other colours. Then we're going to go eyeliner. It does tend to look quite nice when the eyeliner is a little bit thicker at the side. It does lift. So just close for me. So we're going to try and go from thick to thin. It tends to work on most eyes. Remember, don't worry too much about putting the eyeliner on the actual lid of your eye. I think a lot of women concentrate on that. So think about coating your lashes. Where do the eyelashes grow from? That is actually where you are pressing the eyeliner. So look, if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. Sometimes when you're doing it yourself and you're looking in the mirror, then you can actually, while your eye is open, just go inner eye. You really want a thin line in that inner eye. We might just put a little bit to open the eyes up. So from here, grab a beautiful Blackberry colour. You should pick a bit of a darker colour for this, just to cement into, so we're setting the liquid liner or the cream or gel liner. And then we're just using the tip of the brush, especially on the outside. We're always starting on the outer third of the eye, because we don't mind if we make a mistake and it's a bit too heavy, because that's where you want it to be a bit darker. We're blending it a little bit, but we don't want to blend it totally away. We're almost, again, pressing in. And just a tiny little bit in that center. It will just widen the eyes. So from here, to widen our eyes even more, by creating a lighter shade here and just a little bit darker in the crease, we're pushing this part of the eye back, which is that crease part, and then this will pop forward to open up the eyes even more. So we shall choose perhaps Taupe, using a lovely blending brush. And I actually do like to, when you're doing it at home, have your eyes, or have yourself looking at the mirror straight ahead, and then you can see, you can start with your eye closed a little bit on the corner, but then you start to go up, and then if you open your eyes, Sanaz, and look straight ahead, then you can see what you're doing. Don't be afraid to have your eyes open while you're doing this stage, because you can see how far up you're going. Just a little, not too dark. So I tend to go from the outside in. Blending brushes are fantastic for this because you're really blurring that edge, and that's what you want. So if you have gone down too far, then you just take your large concealer brush, and then you, again, from that angle of the nose to the eye, as long as you clean that up and just open for me, that will freshen you, and again, we're lifting the face. So as you can see, just need to highlight that little area there under the brow. So with our Vanilla Bean, it's a fantastic colour to just highlight with, and it doesn't have any frost in it, so it's really soft. And again, in here, it's all about really working the colours in. The more you blend, the better it looks. And another great little tip is using perhaps that taupe or that middle colour. You can diffuse that darker colour a little bit. And now we're ready for mascara. So the Synergy mascara is beautiful because it is so gentle, and yet you can really get a lot of volume with it. So not only good for you, but does the trick and really opens the eyes up, which is what we want. So there are little bristles, and then there are the longer bristles. So the little ones are for depositing the colour. So I will actually get you to close for me. And so I find that if I wiggle and first deposit the colour or the product, and then I do from little bristles and I twist to the longer bristles, kind of wiggle and twist up. So while they're drying, they're actually curling at the same time. Small bristles to longer bristles, do a twist. And then you can also, as long as you don't have any on the end, too much product on the end, you can sculpt your eyelashes with the end. And then just do a little on the bottom, depending on how much volume you want. So our Luminiser is a beautiful pearlescent called Moon Glow. And so we're again sticking to the high planes of the face. So I tend to concentrate on the cheekbones, swish it there, a little bit down the nose, just above the lip and the chin. I don't go too much on the forehead. I just think that tends to get shiny naturally, and I don't think we need to emphasize that, but just above the eyebrow, below the eyebrow, on the top of the cheekbones, a little bit on the nose, not too much. So we're starting with lips now, and we're going to use the PoutPot lip liner in Nude. Now your lip liner is wonderful because it's, especially the Synergy lip liner, because it has plant-based waxes that keep the colour intact. And so we're creating a nice soft line, but this is the perfect time to be correcting lip shapes as well. If you're a little bit uneven in your lip shape, this is the product to use to correct that, because it will hold the lipstick colour in as well. So I'll use a lovely Synergy lipstick in Secrecy, and that will just nicely enhance what we've done on the eyes. And then we'll put a little bit of this beautiful lip gloss. So the beauty of Georgie, the colour Georgie, it has a pink colour through it. It's an iridescent colour, but it's a soft iridescence. So if we pop it over Secrecy, it just pops nicely. Just gives it that little bit of bringing out the natural pink that's in that peach when you're mixing the colours together. Just on the fleshy parts of the lip. And there we have it.